Welcome to Configuring GPO Links. In this video, I want to show you how to create a GPO and link it to an object, and understand this really is a two-step process. We're going to create the group policy object, and then we'll link it to a site, domain, or OU. Now, the way you do it in the Group Policy Management console looks like a one-step process, but really most of the time it's two. Now, little exam alert here. The Group Policy Management console does not allow you to create and link a new GPO for sites, but you can use the console to link a site to an existing GPO. And you'll see that in just a moment when you see how this thing works. So let's just jump out there and do one of these and just kind of click around and show you. I'm going to hit my Windows key, jump out to the start screen, open Server Manager. And once Server Manager gets open, I will use the Tools command over here in the upper right. See where my mouse is here. Use the Tools command to open the Group Policy Management console tool. Now, once this opens, you can see that I'm looking at my starter GPOs. But if I come up here to my VTCAD class and look at this particular domain, notice I can right-click, I can create a GPO in this domain and link it right here. So I'll do that in just a second, but notice I can link an existing GPO, and I can choose it right here. Now, I can look in this domain. If there were other domains, I could do that, but this is the only domain I have right now, and these are the only two group policy objects I have. And keep in mind, these both got created automatically by default as a process of creating this domain. So I could link to that if I had more GPOs out there, or I could just come right here and create a GPO for this domain and link it. Now notice we'll call the name VTC class demo. And if I wanted to base it on a source starter, I could just choose one here out of this list. But I'll skip that for now, and I'll click OK. And notice here is my VTC class demo. And I've selected a link, and except for changes, the changes I make here are global to the GPO and will impact all other locations where the GPO is linked. And that's one thing to watch. Once you create a GPO, you can link it to multiple domains, to multiple OUs or whatever. And so making a change to it, it's going to change it on everybody. Okay? So notice here's my VTC class demo GPO. Here's some details on it. Right now it is enabled. I could turn it off. I could disable just the computer side or just the user side of it. And then I can go to settings, and I can see what settings are out here. And as you can see, there are no settings defined on it right now. So I can right click on the demo GPO that I created and click edit. And this is actually going to bring up the Group Policy Management Editor. And then I can go in here, for example, under Computer Configuration, under Policies, like Windows Settings. And I can click that. And notice when you click on these things, it can take a few minutes for it to pop up. And so notice Script, Startup, Shutdown. I can double click here, and I can go out and find a script that I want to run on Startup. And I don't want to do that. I'll go out here to Security Settings. Notice here's Account Policies. Here's my password policy. I can enforce a password history, and I'll define this, and I'll remember the previous 3 passwords. So I'll apply that, and notice that is now out there. And notice how many things here that I can change. Let me make this full screen for you, and let me scoot this over. Notice how many things I can change out here. And then on the user side, I can set policies as well. Notice Windows Settings. Here, same thing. Scripts, deployed printers, folders, redirections. A lot of things can happen out here. Go out here and just click and look around and see what all you can do. Now, once I'm done with this, I will close the editor, and I have made these changes. And so now if I go back and look at settings, and I'll have to refresh this. I'll have to run that script again. And so notice now under settings, I can see that I have some settings chosen on this one, and I'm enforcing password history. Now, what I've done here, notice on the details here, on the scope, I should say, on the scope tab, I can see that this is enabled and it's linked to this particular domain. And we're going to talk about this a little bit later on when we talk about security filtering, but notice also that the settings in this GPO can only apply to the following groups, users, and computers, and to the authenticated users group. And again, we'll talk about that a little bit later on. So it's that easy. Now, if I want to link this GPO somewhere else, I can just go to that location and right-click and link it. So if I had other domains out here, notice like this one, I can see link to group policy objects, right? And I can right-click it and I can link an existing GPO to this. Well, notice my VTC class demo shows up. It's already linked to that, okay? But I could choose it. So if there was another GPO object out there, I could link it. And then I could go out there and set my inheritance to see which one goes first and second. The second overwrites the first, third overwrites the second, and so forth. So that's it. That's a real quick look at how to create and link group policy objects. Just go play with these, tinker with them until you get comfortable with them. A lot of power here.